Hello and a warm welcome to the TNC Podcast. Are you up for the cup? I'm not anymore. Chris, welcome back.
Right, can I just make this
Cheers.
abundantly clear for pure transparency for our listeners and viewers around the world who are loyal and I massively respect. I don't want to be talking to you today. I tried to put Jack off filming.
Look, this was a tough sell. This was a tough
didn't
sell.
I? Last night, I gave Jack the, oh, sorry, mate, I've not put it in my diary. And then I gave him the, oh, yeah, but, mate, it was just the FA Cup. And then I went, oh, yeah, but, mate, there's nothing else to talk about. So, yeah, I want to be really honest. I don't want to do this today.
And this is the hypocrite that I have to deal with on a weekly basis, because this man often publicly shames me for not being up for the cup.
The first time you've been up for the cup ever, by the way.
Who was at Bristol Rovers at home while this man was swanning about at five-star London restaurants?
Thank God for that.
Maybe, you know, don't.
And I didn't miss anything, did I? I tell you, no, I did. I tell you what I did miss.
Yeah, you did.
Tell you what I did miss. A solid Anel Hernandez performance.
Maybe you've been the curse all along.
Maybe
You're not there, and he turns
Maybe.
up. Look, it was FA Cup third round action. I was in the lower River End. I was trying to work out the last time I was there, and I finally worked it out.
Go on.
The last time I was in there was 2012. The goal scorer for Norwich City under 18s, Cameron McGeehan,
Wow.
in our first leg tie against Chelsea.
That's really niche.
Yeah, that was the last time I was there. The facilities, I must say, in the River End
Ah.
awful. Genuinely feel for anyone who sits there on a weekly basis. Norwich City need to look at themselves. 20 minutes I had to wait to go to the toilet.
Just add that on top of the pile of everything else.
Yeah, look, I saw the team and I thought, oh,
yeah, really strong team. Yeah,
Wagner up for the cup.
Yeah, didn't. I think he had a couple of the younger lads on the bench, didn't he?
Yeah.
But didn't say, here you go, here's your opportunity.
Yeah.
Played a really strong team. So you're looking at the team sheet, and I'm looking at it before I climb the Millennium Dome, Jack.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, cool, fucking hell, hello. This could be a cricket score. Yeah. Mate, it could be.
Yeah.
We've got Sarge up top with Big Bad Barnsley. Yeah, we've got
Signs.
Borja Signs. I mean, my God. I mean, you're looking at that and you're thinking, cool, hello. And you think, cool, well, actually, we don't need to worry about conceding today, do we?
No. Oh, God, no.
We've got Grant Hanley at the back.
But I don't know if you'd have seen this on the highlights. My favourite Grant Hanley moment, and I'm skipping right to the end, we'll get back to the rubbish in between. We finished the game with 10 men.
Yes.
Did you see this?
Yes.
Because I was watching Grant Hanley, the ball was still in play, and I'm seeing him sort of jog towards Wagner. I'm thinking, this is strange, that there's no substitution board gone up, no break in play, and he runs past David Wagner. I'm thinking, I must be maybe going to get a drink, a bit strange, but okay.
Or the toilet, one of those situations where he goes for number 2 perhaps.
And Grant Hanley disappears down the tunnel, never to be seen again, with about 10 minutes left to play.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
And that
he just went, yeah, you know what, I've had enough.
and that's our captain.
I know he had a bit of an injury, but we were under the cosh at that point. I mean, imagine if we'd have conceded and lost it.
Can I just say,
I just saw
the fact that you've just said we were under the cosh by Bristol Rovers
No,
at home.
to be fair, because who's leading the line for them?
Golly gosh. Well, Chrissy Martin, banned from every pub in Beccles.
So, fair play.
Or Bungay, or I forgot what the rumour was.
No, Beccles and Waveney.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
it's 68 pubs I think he was banned from.
Can I just say, Super Chrissy Martin,
Legend.
What a boy. I remember the golden NCFC triangle, as I'm calling it. You know, Wesy, Super Chrissy Martin and Big Grant Holt up top. I mean, we just battered League One. Got out there at the first time of asking. Anyway, how the times have changed.
Yes.
Because now, and let's be honest, I mean, you were there to witness it with your own eyes. That was a loss. I think we were fortunate to get a replay out of that game.
Absolutely. We will be happy with that.
But the thing, Jack, that has boiled my piss, and I'll pre-frame this with, I really don't like it when a manager or head coach does a press conference and, you know, it's kind of it's not similar to us, but when you're constantly talking publicly all the time, eventually you're going to say something that, you know, doesn't land well or doesn't make sense or is contradictory or is actually incorrect or is the wrong thing.
And he's speaking in a second language.
Of course, absolutely. But, big but, and the people know what I'm going to say already, okay? You're going into a game, right, against Brit, and I'll make sure,
well,
I'll make sure against fucking hell, Jack. Shut up. Right. Let's get this completely correct, right? We're going into a game, a cup game, and by the way, what round was it?
Third round.
Third round.
Yeah.
Right? And the quote was, "We don't want a rematch, but if we have to, then we take it." Oh, come on! Come on! Like, and I'm like, words, and I've said this about Stuart Webber, and I'll say this about anyone in a high-profile position in an organisation. Your words matter, okay? What message does that send to the supporters that don't fucking want to attend on Saturday, but just do it out of pure habit? Because they've got nothing else to do in the region. What message does that send to the supporters? What message does it send to the players that are all on social media, they're all reading it and they're going, oh, hang on a minute, hang on, wait, what? Oh, he's all right with a replay. Eh? And I know it's petty, and I know it's small, but it's those small details that all pile up and create, you know, this shadow, this massive cloud over the Norwich City Football Club at the moment. It matters. And I need to, you know, back David up now to contradict myself and say, and part of the reason why I've looked at that and have had such an issue with it, he's the only one doing any talking at the moment. So of course he's going to say something that's not going to hit the mark. So that was the thing, even before we kicked the ball, Jack, that boiled my piss. And it was no surprise. Well, this is how far our club has sank. This is how far we've digressed. We've rotted. The fact that I'm not surprised that we've drawn against Bristol fucking Rovers at home with a strong team. Do you know what? I'd have a lot of respect if Wagner and the coaching side went, fuck it. Let's give that starting 11 a little rest. Do they deserve it? No, they absolutely don't. But let's just keep them out of the limelight for a bit. Couple of disappointing results. It's not worked. Let's just let them have a rest. Let's just let them have a rest. Play, give opportunities to the youth. Because the conversation that's going to come, I think, later on regarding the January window, if you're a young player at Norwich City Football Club, there's no... And this is the thing that baffles me again. Ben Napper came from Arsenal and was leading, I think it was Pathways and there was something else there. Like, there's no pathway. Or, actually, no, there is a pathway. It's the tiniest bloody pathway. For those people that walk through Norwich, it's that pathway between Chapelfield and St Stephen Street that can only have one person in and out. It's a tiny fucking pathway.
That's niche, path knowledge, but I like it.
There's no pathway for youngsters, which is another concern as to why we're sticking with David Wagner. It baffles me, and we just go on and we go on and we go on. And I do this podcast, this blessed podcast, every week, and I say the same thing. I'm a broken record, and I'm sick of me. I'm bored of me. I'm bored of listening to myself talk about our beloved football club.
Look, Saturday was a really good opportunity, I think, to get some new fans involved.
Yes,
cheap ticket, and actually, but you know, they'd shut the upper tiers, so it was essentially a sellout. It was absolutely heaving, and I'd logged on to Norwich, I think on the Wednesday, and I thought, I could pick wherever I want to sit. And me and a few friends, and all the seats were gone basically, so I had to go in the lower river end. We had a lovely family behind us. I think the mum was a season ticket holder. This is how I worked out. The mum was a season ticket holder. The husband or the boyfriend or partner wasn't really that fussed. And they brought their 2 young daughters along. And it was lovely. Great. And we went 1-0 up. And we thought, happy days. The kids were singing, chanting yellows. Really enjoyable. Bit chilly. We conceded, but still good times at half time. They went and bought some Haribo Tang Fast sticks. And then the decline started. Bristol Rovers on the front foot. And there was a great line from this little young girl, about 60 minutes in. And she said, "Mummy, I'm not enjoying this no longer. Can we go back to Greg's?" And I thought, actually, can I come as well? Because that cheese and onion, that cheese and onion bake pre-match was far more enjoyable than this.
Let me respond to that. Right, you've touched upon something which is an issue that's been which has been in and around this football club for years now. I'd actually say it's probably not kicking the pants off a decade. This has been a problem, and that is that Norwich City have an ageing supporter base. Okay, like every club. But the challenge with Norwich City Football Club is we have so many season ticket holders, loyal, passionate, dedicated season ticket holders that deserve way more respect than they're getting, as always. The problem is they're getting older. They're not getting younger. And so these cup games, which is why I've been relentlessly on your back for being anti-cup.
So that was why you weren't there, not attending.
These cup games are vital for the future of our football club. They future-proof your fan base. Yeah, it gets fans thinking yellow and green, not blue and white of Chelsea or Manchester City or God forbid, Arsenal or Manchester United, one of those plastic clubs in the Premier League. And we've just turned them off. That game, they won't bother anymore.
No, of course they won't.
It's a problem that's been about for a long time. And by the way, I always say, this is with no offence to anyone that, classes themselves as old. Like, I really respect you as a supporter.
I feel old.
But, we have to be enticing, young supporters and getting them into this football club. And so that game was even more important for that. And we've just turned up and put in such a shit display again.
Look, it started well. Norwich, for the first 10... Look, it was end to end, but it was a relatively nice move for the opening goal. I think it was Forshaw from deep. Pings a ball, a relatively hopeful ball, but Onel was bright, in against the defender, picks it up, squares it to Barnes, 1-0. You're thinking, right, 1-0 after 10 minutes against League One opposition, kick on, 2 or 3 by half time, cup over, bring some youth on.
Love it.
Routine.
With you.
And I'm thinking, okay, this is a nice start. I think it was 4 minutes later, after just retreating, and you could feel it coming, It was a great finish by Grant Ward.
Yes.
We'd cleared our lines. Fisher picks it up. I felt a little bit sorry for him because I thought other than that had a fairly solid game.
Yeah.
Gives it away. Great finish. 1-1. And from that point on, it was all Bristol Rovers. And how many times this season have we seen us take the lead?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 1 goal. It's been 2 goals against Watford and Leeds United. And just the complete lack of game plan from that point onwards to see a game out. And I'm not talking about this game seeing it out, because you should be kicking on, scoring 2, 3, 4. I thought Bristol Rovers, to their credit, were good and brought an incredible following on a day that trains were cancelled. A huge following. Congratulations to Bristol Rovers. Should have won the game. But I was watching this team apparently striving for championship success and thinking, you are so far off the level we need to be at.
Mate, the thing that, we can debate tactics, lineups, in-game management and all of that stuff until the cows come home. We really can. The thing that concerns me the most, and always does, is we are mentally weak. And do you know what? I don't care anymore. And I know that some of the players and people inside the four walls of the football club listen to this. Clip it up. Put me on the changing room wall. Your mentality is piss poor. It's piss poor.
But was this not why the experienced players were supposed to come in?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel for young Kellen Fisher. He's made a mistake, as all young players do. I think he's been brilliant when he's been called upon this season.
Yeah, he was okay. Yeah,
bearing in mind that he was playing non-league last season. Yeah, that boy deserves to be backed. And the way that performance fizzled out, all it's done is it's almost made it look like, and in fact, I'm not even going to say what I think that others are thinking, but the critical point you made there, Jack, is regardless of Kellen's mistake, the lads should go and win that 4-5-6-1. They should, but they don't, because they're mentally weak.
Yeah.
And I do agree with the message of the players like David Wagner, but they're clearly not. Either the instructions are getting confused here, or they're just fed up of the tactics that they're being told to play, and it's not working. So Look, it's a shit. And do you know what, Jack? When is this bloody replay that we've got to play?
Tuesday.
So it's sandwiched in between Hull and West Brom.
So it's Hull on Friday, away. I assume come back to Norfolk, to then travel to Bristol on the Tuesday night, to then return, and it's West Brom the following Saturday. I mean, Wagner had almost spoken it up. A quick word for Long, who I've given a hell of a lot of stick to this season. I thought was actually pretty good on Saturday.
Well done.
But did say in his interview post-match that they. What did he say about the replay?
I think he's just trying to rally the troops, wasn't he? In fact, he was trying to rally the troops.
But you just don't want that trip after Hull away.
Yeah.
So I thought Long had a pretty good game. The two players who I thought had a really good opportunity to kind of bed themselves in. Adam Forshaw returned into the starting 11.
Yeah, good to see him in there.
And so did Liam Gibbs.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we learnt from that was that they're a long way from Sarah and Nunes.
Well, yeah. Okay.
So they didn't paint themselves in much good light to be starting league games. And I think Connor Southwell wrote a piece about Liam Gibbs. I think we're at a really pivotal time with Liam Gibbs' progression.
Yes, I saw that. Great piece.
I don't think David Wagner has helped his cause. He's not a 10. We know that. Liam Gibbs will know that. I think the only person that thinks he's a 10 is that Wagner. When Gibbs first came into the setup, he was buzzy and
I said he was a regen of Ollie Skip.
Well, I don't think it was ever that, but there was something about him that you went, oh, okay, there's something there.
Yeah.
I don't see that anymore. His complete lack of influence on the game on Saturday was a real concern, and we're at that moment now where Gibbs is still young, and I'm sure he will have a bright future. But if it's going to come at Norwich City, they're the opportunities he needs to take.
But Jack, Liam Gibbs is one of 6 or 7 players that I could reel off that their development and progression and the way they're I guess settling into Norwich is being affected by the management of this current coaching setup.
Yes.
They're being stifled.
Yes.
And many of them, not just a handful, over a handful. And I actually want to challenge your point about George Long and Daniel Hernandez, and you'll be quite surprised to hear that from me.
I've just praised them.
Yeah, I know, but you'll be quite surprised to hear this from me, Jack. But do you know what? Yeah, I'm not fucking surprised. And so they should have been good against Bristol Rovers. So they should have been good. It's Bristol Rovers in League One. We're at home. Yes, I expect a good performance from George Long, from Daniel Hernandez, from all of those players. So, yeah, I agree. Give them praise, and they deserve praise, and I'm pleased that they did well. But let's be careful. Let's not sink our standards to, oh, well done, boys. 1-1 at home to Bristol fucking Rovers. Come on. We're Norwich City Football Club.
Well, look, Onel got an assist. Should have been more.
Was it? I think he probably could have had, 2? Well, definitely 2, but arguably 3.
Look, Adam Idah came on for Josh Sargent, and look, I like Adam Idah. I think, in terms of athletically, he is the perfect forward. He's strong, he's quick, he's got a powerful shot.
Yes.
But I think I can probably count 3 or 4 just from the top of my head. Coventry away. What was the last defeat that we over?
I try not to think about it.
It was over Christmas. We lost 1-0. Who was it? God, I can't even remember. I was trying to... It wasn't West Brom. It was the one after West Brom. Millwall. The game at the weekend. Opportunities that are like 2 feet in front of him that you just chuck yourself at. And someone replied... I put it out. I said, Adam Idah at the moment lacks the killer instinct that all good strikers possess. I think he could have had 3, 4, 5 more goals this season if he just throws himself. And someone replied with a clip of Grant Holt. I can't remember who it was against. Very similar cross, wide area, throws it into the 6-yard box. And Holt, I don't even think I think it's like his rib cage that meets it. He just launches himself at it. He ends up in the back of the net.
Yes.
The ball ends up in the back of the net. The goalkeeper ends up in the back of the net. That's what I want to see Adam Idah doing. I want Adam Idah to succeed at this football club. But time after time, he's given good opportunities, whether that be time on the pitch, opportunities to finish, And I know he scored some really important goals this season, and he's done well in that regard. But he could have had so many more. And that's my concern with Idah, is he's got everything that he needs, other than that instinct, that willingness to just throw yourself at something that I'm not sure is taught. I think that's nature.
But again, Jack, I respond to that with the fact that Adam's development at Norwich City has been stifled, has been mismanaged. He should have been given a loan move. He wasn't. He didn't get a loan move. Okay? That's vital for a player at that age. He was playing under Dean Smith for a long time. I mean, that stifles anyone's development, okay? He's been pushed out wide like Josh Sargent was. He's been playing in a team that's been in a relegation battle that barely touched the fucking ball in the Premier League. Yes, he has been given chances in the Championship, but look, he scored some vital goals this season, and I think Adam and Adam's performances are the smallest of fires. I really do.
Absolutely.
I really do, and I think we need to be, and I think that it's important. The context around Adam is important, and the final point that I would back at you on Adam Idah. Look how that boy plays for Ireland. Look how he's managed for Ireland. Look at the position he plays for Ireland. Look at the type of football that Ireland play and allow Adam Idah to play, okay? The boy, and by the way, and the crowd are on his side as well. Look, Adam Idah, let's continue to get behind him, okay?
Oh, absolutely.
If he plays in a confident side, let's go back to our the podcast before, Jack. We said, we're not creating enough chances. So when you get a chance now, it's like, oh my God, I've got a chance, I've got a chance. And it's like, imagine being in his boots. He gets one chance a game, albeit he had a couple against Bristol Rovers. You know, there's a lot of pressure there.
Look,
I'm not blindly, it's not blind faith. I know there's been periods where Adam's not been up to the standard that we expect, but I believe this season, in spite of all of the circumstances, and at the start of the season, the abuse that he was receiving, and last season, he's managed to get himself progressing again.
Look, this is very much coming from a place of love.
You want him to do well.
I want him to do well. He's a great guy. You want to see players that have come through the ranks progress.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is me going, he's got the attributes.
Yep.
He's
I agree.
fit, he's strong,
I agree.
Really powerful.
And you mentioned Grant Hull. Well, Grant Hull was one of the former players that said to me, Revo, Adam Idah, really good player. Really good
You're
player.
right, though. Not the main concern. The main concern here is something that we knew about 12 months ago.
Yes.
And that is, we have a manager completely inept of changing it in game. The tactics on Saturday were abhorrent. Were really, really poor. Just passive and negative. And look, I've said to you before, I don't mind watching us play negative if it reaps rewards. But this isn't. This is doing nothing. It's not fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's not betting in youth. Anything you want from this, it's not happening. And it's not moving in the right direction.
Because that was my defence of part of the Dean Smith show for a while was, look, this is really, it's horrible, it's stodgy. But actually there were, large spells where we were just grinding out results.
And that's, I'm almost okay with that.
I'm now not. I've been put off it now. But no, totally agree with your point. I want to bring something up, Jack, and you've just tapped on it there by accident. I feel that and this, I don't know if this is off the agenda or not. I really want to talk about your summary, your post-Bristol summary, and I'd highly encourage anyone watching and listening to this now to go and watch Jack's summary, particularly with how you talk about, almost like the canary state of nation. I think large sections of supporters are now asking questions of Ben Napper and going, hang on a minute, where are you? What are you up to? And again, like I said in the last podcast, I wish that I had some sort of defence of that, but because I don't think he can communicate, because of the fact that really all fans want to hear is, when are you getting rid of David? So actually, he probably can't really communicate right now. But because of that, it does create this perception, which you use that word very well in your review, Jack, of, well, bloody hell, where are we going? What are we doing? Who are we signing? And there are so many questions that continue to pile up, and the crescendo, the conclusion of your video, which was brilliant, is that really there's two options here, and the option that that we're choosing, which is just beyond my brain, choosing to go with, which is we stick with David Wagner. Norwich City and the Norwich City hierarchy are dangling off a tightrope at the moment. They're walking a tightrope with supporters, large sections. And there have been years gone past, and I reflect, I was young and I was emotional, and I've probably said things like, I'll be surprised if people, renew their season tickets, But actually, I was saying that when we were in the, Premier League under Chris Hughton, when we'd just been relegated. I can go on and on and on that note, but I really mean it this time, and I've really thought about it. I think that at the moment, if we stick to what it is, large sections of supporters will not renew their season ticket. They won't. And by the way, I reckon that they'll get it back quite comfortably. There won't be a bloody queue for a Norwich City season ticket, especially at one of the highest prices in the Championship. And that, sadly, and I've defended Dealer and Michael Wynne-Jones because of how they are and what they've done and when they've saved this football club. But unfortunately, that is the only thing now that's going to make them do something is toxicity, unrest, and critically, the black and white, the numbers. When people don't renew their season tickets, and Norwich City hierarchy, let me bloody tell you something for free. That is coming, and it's coming like a steam train in your in tray on your desk. A serious drop off in Norwich City season tickets. And I'll be frank, Jack. Like, if I didn't have to, I say have to. It's a great honour and privilege to be on this podcast and to do the scrimmage with Rob Butler on BBC Radio Norfolk. If I wasn't doing that, I wouldn't be turning up this season to watch this shit. No fucking way. And by the way, can I say, I'm really sorry to keep swearing. I really am. I find it so difficult not to at the moment because it is just so turgid.
I think it's a great point, Chris, and I said it on my video on Saturday. Like, we're very lucky to be doing this, and it's not our job, but it's part of our lives. And I was thinking, like, if I wasn't doing this, would I be choosing to spend my hard-earned cash and my time to go? And I think for the first time ever since I've been going, since like 2009, since I've been going on a consistent basis, I think it was the first time I went, no, I don't think I would. And look, we've seen some horrible football in the last 15 years, right? And you would have seen mediocrity to an extent before I was going.
Yeah, I did.
But in the time I've been going, 15 years, there's always been something to cling on to.
Yes.
And of course there is to an extent now. I love watching Jonathan Rowe. I love watching Gabby Sarah. Yeah. I'm excited about what the Atanasios can bring. There's always something.
Yeah.
But it is that feeling of passiveness that I'm really getting tired of. And I kept using the word perception because I feel very uneasy about criticising Ben Napper. But it has to be because you, in particular, are in a very lucky position that you get to speak to people, and you're much like the journalists who cover our club really well. They get to see the inner workings of a football club more than the average fan, and like that's the same up and down the country. And you get extra context. But for the match-going fan, it's really difficult to see what's going on, and I speak to so many people. Particularly on Saturday, were coming up to me and going, Jack, where's it going? And I wanted to give them something. I wanted to give them some hope because I've always tried to lean on the edge of optimism, as we do with life, as we do with football.
Yeah, I can't
give people something to grab onto because it would be. I wouldn't be truthful.
Well, you'd be making it up.
I'd be making it
up.
Mate,
let me tell you something, mate. The conversations I'm having over the last few weeks. I can't share anything to cling on to, any hope, any belief, any positivity, any optimism. I can't.
And I'm constantly in that mindset of, is this entitlement as a Norwich fan? Because we've seen ups and downs.
That's
and
good. Well acknowledged.
There are so many clubs in the Championship who are probably similar size to us.
Yeah.
Stoke, Swansea, West Brom to an extent, who have had Premier League success and probably more so than us in the last decade. And sustainability, and have dropped down and are really struggling to find a way out. But Then I think, actually no, it's not entitlement. 4th highest wage bill in the division. Parachute payment money still coming in. One of, if not the most expensive season ticket in this division. We should, it's not an entitlement, we should be expecting the highest of standards from our football club. Even if we had the lowest wage budget in this division, we should still be expecting everybody to be pulling in the right direction. I'm certainly not questioning the effort of people, because I think that would be a very lazy argument. I think everyone is working hard. But I think at the moment we've got people pulling in very different directions.
Yes.
And the most concerning thing for me, Chris, is you mentioned season ticket renewals. Now, from a financial standpoint, I think it's not the highest of, it's not make or break for Norwich whether 3,000 people don't renew. But
really?
No,
I think it is.
It's
I think it is now. It hasn't been when we're doing the Premier League. It is now, Jack.
But I think for a while, for the next couple of years, you'll fill those seats with general admission, or you give more to away fans. But look, I'm certainly not saying that that's a good way to go down. But it's the kind of people that I'm seeing saying I'm not renewing.
Agreed.
In terms of
really loyal supporters,
fans,
they go
very level-headed away games.
Yeah.
It's not even a financial issue. Like people who've got that disposable income, just going, I'd rather go for a walk on a Saturday and listen to Chris Gorham, and then when we're 2-0 down against Plymouth, I can just switch it off and I'll go for a coffee. That's the concerning thing. It's not uni students who may be short of cash and they're going away, so they won't be able to go. That's a real concern, and it's going in one direction. I think Norwich fans that have been so patient with Wagner, I genuinely think the 23 other Championship clubs in this form, Wagner's gone. So he would have gone so long ago.
Brilliant. I agree with everything that you've just said, Jack. And a club that you've brought up, and I'll give you an example, is Stoke City.
Yeah.
And in London, someone recognises me, Elliot. Hello, Elliot.
Oh, yes.
And he goes, picture. Oh, hello, Revo. Nice to meet you finally.
Fan,
Stoke City fan, right? They're below us. And I said, how's the mood, Elliot? And he went, yeah, it's really good. It's really good, actually. Started to pull a couple of results together. We've got a new gaffer at the helm. The mission, the direction, the strategy has been outlaid. Everyone knows what's going on, where we're going, what we're trying to achieve. Okay, and we're above them, and it's like the opposite. So, like, I think you're very, very. I'm pleased that you've brought up Stoke and Swansea. You ask those guys, of fans of those clubs, how the mood is,
maybe not so much
whether they will be renewing their season tickets. And I can say confidently, with my chest out, my shoulders back, that 90% at least, pardon the pun, of fans of those clubs will be renewing their season tickets.
Let's go on to Twitter. I still refuse to call it X. It's Twitter to me. It's like people, isn't it, who still call Snickers marathons because they just refuse to. And let's start actually with Craig, who says, "Will Chris be buying a Snickers or a Twix at the next home game?" Well, Craig, hopefully Chris turns up, because obviously he decided to sack off the FA Cup game to swan about in London. So if you turn up at the next home game, Chris, what will you be buying, a Snickers or a Twix?
I think I'll be opting to taste the rainbow, and I'll be going for a bag of Skittles.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't had a Skittle for a very long
to
time.
lob at you in the row in front of me.
On
a serious note, can I just say one more time, the chocolate bar selection at Carrow Road is appalling.
I think you just need to grow up. Just get one from Morrison's.
It's rubbed at... Oh, what? So you're not putting money into the club's pocket, Jack? Well, you're sneaking things into the ground, are you now?
Not sneaking.
You're supporting a big national multi-corp and not
That's
our
exactly
beloved
what we
football
are.
club. How dare you?
Yeah, I am actually, because the price...
Move on from Snickers before I lose my head.
The price of a sausage roll, I hadn't realised, it's a serious issue.
Right, let me hit you with a line now.
Go on then.
Absolutely no clue what this bloke's on about, so let's quickly move on. Hayden Brown says, question, can I have the club I love back? When do we get that,
How old is Hayden, just for context?
I don't know. He's got a picture of Sargent pulling a funny face as his profile picture.
I would assume...
Younger. Do you know the thing that I would say, when can you have the club you love back? Truly, I think it's when the Atanasios have full control. People don't want to hear that because it's in 2026.
I find it really interesting. I think there's a generation, if not... Well, there's a few eras of football fans younger than us, right?
It's actually not a bad shout where you're going here. I know where you're going here. I like it.
Do you know where I'm going? I think I'm almost like... It's not generational, but
you're not weathered. You're not weathered.
No, what? No, I'm saying I'm like an era before you.
Yeah.
And then there's probably a couple before me. After me, whatever. Yeah. There's probably like 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds going to Carrow who have grown up in a very different world and also a very different era of football, who pick the teams that they support based on their favourite player on FIFA, or pick the teams that they support based on who's on first on match of the day. And I'm not criticising that, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, it takes less of a downfall for those guys to sack it off. Like, we go to Norwich week in, week out, partly because it's what we do, and it's just what we do, right? Yeah. And whether we're in League 2 or whether we're in the Champions League, I'll have my season ticket. I won't give it up, regardless.
But younger generations see things as more disposable. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's a
concern, isn't it?
And it's a huge concern. And there will be swathes of kids coming through high school now going, why on earth? Because when I was going through high school, me and my mates would all pick up a ticket and we'd go together, and that's what we did over the weekend. Why would you do that as a 14-year-old kid? That would be, I don't know, what the kids go down the skate park and have a prime or something, do some vaping. I'd rather go down the skate park and have a watermelon vape.
Can I just say that is shocking from you?
Well, that's what kids do. They drink prime and they vape.
Well, please don't vape. Ross Amies
have
says,
a Lakens,
Ross Amies, have a Lakens instead. Now that I can endorse, and you'll need a lot of it this season as well. And there's a discount code in the description. Ross Amies says, can you honestly envision a more promising season next season, given how this season has and is going, with half the squad and the quality left most likely leaving come this summer? Jack, this is something that you mentioned in your post-Bristol post-mortem.
Look,
and I think that Ross has got a great point. It's not just January that's the concern with who will leave. It's the summer, because this might be doing a lot more. This season might be doing a lot more damage than we think.
It's huge. It's the biggest concern.
Is it?
It is, because I had this same conversation over the summer, and when I did my pre-season predictions video, and this certainly isn't me going, oh, I was right, blah, 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 and I predicted us to finish mid-table, and everyone went, no, we'll be top 6, we'll win the league, blah, blah, blah. This was my reasoning, and it's the same again this season. We have lost Timu Pukki, Max Aarons, Andrew Omobamidele, replaced them with nobody, got the same manager who had just led us to a mid-table finish. What do you expect to change? Let me finish. Let's go through this summer. We will lose Jonathan Rowe, Gabriel Sara, Josh Sargent, and probably Angus Gunn. Should, probably will. We probably will have a different manager come this time next season. God only hopes, right? But what difference do you expect to happen? It's the same board. It's the same leadership. It's going to be the same. You cannot write this season off and just magically hope that next season is better. Because every season, the teams at the top of the Championship get struck. Leicester City, right. How are we meant to compete with Leicester City?
Well, you can't. And that's why Mavadidi rocked up there instead of us. Banners, who goes by the name on X as 70s Barclay Boys. This is a bloke that's clearly
weathered.
He's weathered some ups and downs. So here we go. Let's see what Banners has to say. January's still young. BK has a plan this month to leap into action with player moves in and out, and maybe find a way to help an ailing coach. Now, I'll respond to this first. What I want to be honest with the views. Jack and I fell out last week, didn't we? We fell out. Do you remember?
Which occasion?
Well, we heavily fell out.
Yeah.
With our great sponsor Hill Coaching, we've got a lovely group chat on WhatsApp, and we were
quite feisty, that group chat.
It was. I tell you what, last week it got really. It got to the point where I was going to leave it. I just can't fucking take it, mate. Because do you know what? I can't. I want to be positive. I want to defend. I want to be optimistic. I want to be hopeful. But they are giving me fuck all. Anyway.
So you still haven't told what we fell out about.
Yeah. So sorry. So the point of the fallout is there's this message of it's all right because we'll sign some players in January.
Yes.
And it'll be all hunky dory again. And my challenge is, and I think the reason why we've not already bought players in, what quality of player is going to rock up at Norwich City Football Club in the current state that it's in, this state of limbo, stodginess, flux, toxic atmosphere at home and arguably away, so much detachment, so much, there is apathy as well as anger. Apathy does exist within the fan base as well. And then as a player, you're rocking up, you're not going to be paid high wages because they're all being sucked up by the summer signings, and which don't get me started on. And they're looking at this and they're going, I look under every single Norwich City social media post and there's about 500 comments saying Wagner out. So if you're a player and you're trying to be persuaded to work to go to a football club under a manager that is likely to be, should be dismissed within the next few games, like, why would you come to this football club? So my concern, I don't think that January fixes our issues with player ins at all.
I don't think. I'd be surprised.
I'd be stunned if we signed any good player. But anyway, you can respond to
what was the question? Sorry.
Good point, because I've gone off on a fucking massive tangent. Then sorry. Banners says January's still young. BK has a plan this month to leap into action with player moves in and out, and maybe find a way to help an ailing coach.
No, it's not happening.
Good.
Phil Wall. And this is a nice one.
Can I just say, right, let's just go to Phil Wall. Here we go.
Phil Wall.
Let's read out his bio.
Yeah.
Transport manager at DIL Haulage Ltd. Proud to have served Queen and Country. RAF veteran. Can I just say, Philly Wall, even without reading your bio, I knew that's
an upstanding member of society.
And that's name of the week, by the way. Let's give it to Phil Wall.
Yeah.
That's like just such a solid name.
Good name.
Solid bloke. So what's he saying, Jack?
Well, Phil's son, Jake Wall, another, the upcoming member of society. Yeah. It's his 12th birthday.
Yeah.
Happy 12th birthday to my son, Jake. We travel home and away.
Happy birthday, Jake.
To 90% of games for our home here in Leighton Buzzard. Loves the club. But even at his young age, is becoming apathetic. Help me to keep him singing loud and proud in Block E of the Lower Barclay. Look, it's probably just you and Jake singing.
Hang on. So Phil, you must sit near us then. Let me zoom in on Phil. Phil, say hello next time because you sit in the same block as us, mate.
Happy 12th birthday.
Yeah, all I'll respond to with that is happy birthday to Jake, and also Leighton Buzzard is where he's from. What an interesting location.
Here's my message to you, Jake. As a 12-year-old, you've got so much goodness ahead. Just think, by the time you get to 15, 16 years old...
The Atanasios will be in full control.
Yeah, you'll be going, Phil.
There won't be a queue in the River End toilets.
I reckon at 16, instead of calling Phil Dad, he's just going straight up Phil. He's going, Phil... I'm off to Sweden. We're in the Europa League. And you know what? You're not coming with me. I'm going with my pals.
Right.
You're going to travel Europe as a 16-year-old whippersnapper.
There'll be 6 options of chocolate in the Lower Barclay.
There'll be Lakens on tap. You'll be merry for every game. Norwich will be flying high under American investment. And you will look back on the grotty days of being 12 when Norwich were 14th in the Championship. And you'll go, thanks, Dad, for taking me from Leighton Buzzard. Thanks very much. Because now I support the best football club, not only in East Anglia, because that's been the case, but not only in the UK, but in Europe, where Norwich City are flying high. And you'll go, Phil, thank you for serving Queen and Country.
And can I just confirm that this man is doing dry January, and he's just come out with that.
And you'll be going, Phil.
Right. Let's bring
Phil, continue driving Jake from Leighton Buzzard to Norwich City with the hope that one day those players can contribute as much to society as you did.
Yeah, here.
Here's to Phil.
Yeah, here's to Phil.
And Jake.
Let's bring things back down.
Happy 12th birthday,
Let's
Jake.
bring things back down to reality.
Good old Phil.
And this is what deeply concerns me, Jack, is that there is talk amongst the fan base, certainly online, around what can they do to make the board listen. It's got to that point. And Jeffman98 has highlighted a post that he's put before. He says, "I don't want to resort to this, but when the club won't even communicate with fans, there's rumours of Webber still having influence at board level. Can I just stump on that straight away and say that's not the case? He's not been at the training ground or Norwich City Football Club since he left, which was pre-Cardiff. So that is just hearsay. I can stomp on that. At a board level, and owners who look down on the people who the club exists for. We need to be heard." I agree with that point about looking down on the people. It certainly feels that way. Anyway, Jeff Mann has sort of quoted this and he's highlighted this. "If he," referring to David Wagner, "isn't sacked by the next home game, it's clear they're not listening to us. Let's make them. Dealer out, Wagner out, Napper, sort it out, chance needed. I'd even go as far as booing on the Bull City because the announcer is counting down to boos would be funny as fuck." Do you know...
What do you think's an older football chant? Booing or on the Bull City? Do you think the boo? Is it the chicken or the egg?
Well, first of all, I'm so sad. And by the way,
I know who we should boo as well.
And I know Jeff. Go on.
We should boo the announcer of On the Ball City.
No.
No, go on. Boo them all. When you go up to the catering lady, and she says,
and she says, "Do you want a Twix or a chocolate bar?" Right. Can I honestly just say on a serious note? And I know that Jeff Mann.
Don't do that. Be kind to people.
And I know that Jeff Mann feels this way as well because he's clearly outlined that he doesn't want to resort to this. This is so concerning, Jack, that people are starting to talk about what they can do that's so fucking toxic to get the board to listen, to make that change that should be made. It's sad, isn't it? Who else? What else is everyone saying? Go
on. Carl Skillings. Hello to Carl, big friend of the channel.
Hello, Carl.
Living over in Minnesota, but Norfolk boy at heart. Statement: supporting Norwich City Football Club has become boring, embarrassing, a chore, and painful. I used to not mind paying dollars to tune in to watch games. Now I don't even think about it. Oof. Mid-table mindset, mid-table team, big changes needed. Sums it up. And Carl, I remember Carl, every single week he'd be waking up early hours in the morning in America or late of the evening, whatever the time zone is. Not a sociable time to tune in. Preston in the Championship.
Injecting the coffee and watching the boys.
And now he's not. And you know what? That is the biggest slap in the face that Norwich City Football Club. He doesn't care.
And I wish I could challenge it or defend it, but I can't.
It's probably watching the Milwaukee Brewers.
And let's back up the point of around season tickets because there's so many. We've had so many statements around season tickets this week, Jack. DRG, Dan Greengrass, friend of the channel. Hello, Dan. He says, statement. "This is the first time in my 20 years of having a season ticket that I've struggled to give my seat away. Lower Barclay, just above the goal.
So true.
Literally offered it for free in 4 WhatsApp groups and got greeted with, 'Are you having a laugh? Club's in a shambles.'"
So true. Done it. I've had spare tickets that have come up through friends on my own this season. I've offered them out and they've gone. Have to pay me to go. Ben says, statement: there is absolutely no chance that Wagner leaves this season. He's too well liked by those above him at the football club, and despite results, he will not go this season. Do you think that's a fair assessment from Ben?
I'll be honest, I wasn't listening.
He's saying that there is no way in hell that Wagner leaves this season.
I think there's a way in hell because I think that we're getting to the point of it's completely what's the word I'm looking for? Untenable. Untenable.
Good word.
It is getting to the point of being untenable. And
but do you not
I've
think
said
we're
it in the last
there?
Well, yeah, I've said it in the last podcast before that. I think we have been knocking on the door of interim manager territory. And Bristol Rovers for me is it has to be the final nail in the coffin, surely, because Chris, it's appalling. We've got Hull City away. Honestly, if we again pin me up on the dressing room wall, please use me as motivation, please, for the greater good of this football club. Right? We ain't getting a point. We're not drawing against Hull. We are going to get mauled by the Tigers. An absolute embarrassment, by the way, because what a shithole that is. Right?
Former city of culture, shithole. May I add?
No, don't
for
care.
Some context.
Yeah, and that'll be corrupt, I'm sure.
Hull. I like you. Welcome me into your open cultural arms.
And then West Brom at home. Yeah, I mean, it's and that will be one of those games where I'm sure David will revert to the old let's just park the old Wagner wagon and dig deep, 25% possession. Yeah.
But what I'm saying, Chris, is for Ben and me and other fans, you can only go off facts of this season, and we've hit what feels like doomsday so many times,
yes.
And he's not been sacked. So why will it suddenly now change?
Well, Well, no, yeah, I agree. But I just have a feeling that it's gonna.
You're speaking with hope.
Yeah, I am.
Rather than anything else.
I'm speaking into existence. 23. I'm going to do something different. We've got a bit of audio that's been sent in from 23 Duff on Blue Sky Social. I'm not sure what that means, but let's just play what he has to say.
He has to go, blood. He has to go, blood. Stay or go. He has to go, blood. He has to go, blood.
That's of course a famous clip from AFTV.
Do you ever wish that we were still doing fan cams?
No, because I think we probably would have been lynched by now. Those days of standing outside in the cold are well.
Here's a comment that will be interesting to see what your response.
Is it going to annoy me because I'm already at boiling point?
Chris says, "Why do we bother?" I tell you why.
It annoys. Why have I just paused on that?
I tell you why we bother, Chris. I tell you why we bother.
Go on.
Because I've never got to the point in which I am genuinely really upset about the way the club is going. But these lows make the highs feel so good. And
just keep going.
I was telling myself, I'd go back to 2019, whenever it was, Manchester City at home. And I'm going, why am I going today? We've got Sam Byram at right back. No way will he be able to contain whoever the striker was for Man City then. Probably Aguero. I don't know. And guess what happened? Norwich City turned up and they gave us something. And we will take that to the grave. Those moments. You don't know when they're coming, but they're coming. Stick with it. Stick with it, Chris. You never know when the good moments are coming. And that's why you stick with it. Because one day, Chris might rock up to the lower Barclay and see a picnic bar in there as well. And a dairy milk. He doesn't know when that's coming.
The dream's alive.
But you never know. You've just got to keep plugging away with your twits.
What I would say, as a very, 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 very weathered Norwich City supporter, 30 years old, I can confirm it has been worse than this.
Yes.
We have stooped to League One. I've seen an appalling Glen Roeder side get relegated from the Championship. I've seen such shocking football in and around that era. It's been bad, and Jack has got a point, right? If there's one straw that you can reliably clutch onto, it's that you in a sort of sick way, you've got to enjoy this pain.
Yeah.
Like, you see the pain that we're getting week in, week out. Greet it with a hello and go, hello you. And go, actually, do you know what? Yeah. Hit me harder. Hit me harder, pain.
Yeah.
Let me feel this pain, because you know that in a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe 5 years' time, you will be given the biggest high you've ever been given in your puff. And you will be in the stand and you'll be breathing in like that famous win against Man City at home, and you'll be like, and I was like, God, I remember being relegated to League One. God, I remember watching a turgid football under Chris Hughton.
Yeah.
God, I remember being managed by Peter Grant. Yeah, I remember some shit times.
Yeah.
Okay? So feel the low. Enjoy the low in a sick way. Embrace the low. Laugh at the low. And we are at the point now where if you don't laugh, you'll cry. I didn't expect this to get motivation.
No, that was good. And I'll tell you the other reason we continue, Chris.
Sick Canary says get Wagner gone, by the way.
We've got nothing better to do. What else are you going to do with your Saturday?
Hollywood,
Pot around Knockcuts Garden Centre.
Hollywood Bowl.
What are you going to do? Eh? Drink yourself to death in the pub?
God.
Don't do that. Go to the lower River End and watch Norwich City draw 1-1 with Bristol Rovers.
Do it, Chris. Twedmeister says, Chris Revo, where the fuck do we go from here? I don't know.
Right, let's have one final question.
Yeah, go on then.
Pumster.
That could be a challenger for name of the week.
And I like this.
Go on. How much do you like it?
Not loads, but enough to read it out.
Go on. Hello?
Actually, I've got two more. Pumster's second from last.
Right, okay.
Cup replay needs to be boycotted. We need to let them know we won't stand for this with season ticket renewal.
There will be
Imagine going to Bristol on a Tuesday night from Norwich.
I read. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that. Actually, don't worry.
The only positive of the replay is I think a lot of people won't have watched Norwich play at Bristol Rovers. So for some, it'll be a nice tick in the box.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Move on.
Paul. Norfolk Paul. Bio. Old enough to know better.
Oh, that's so solid.
We're going to be finishing with Paul this week.
And this stinks of positivity. Norfolk Paul is giving us some positivity. Positivity Paul. Go on.
Wrong. The surname Wagner is derived from the German surname Wagonari, meaning wagon driver. Sadly...
No, this is bullshit.
No, I don't think it is.
Norfolk Paul.
No.
Oh, Norfolk Paul was the one that gave us what Napa meant, I think. So it could be right.
It could be, or he could just be bullshit, guys. Either way, I like it.
Okay, go on.
Let me start again.
Sorry.
The surname Wagner is derived from the German surname Wagonari, meaning wagon driver. Sadly, the wheels fell off our wagon months ago, but the driver has continued to drive it towards obscurity, sending everyone to sleep along the way. Stop the bloody ride. I want to get off. Hashtag 20%. David Wagner.
I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
The wagon driver.
Oh, I can't. I actually can't. I can't. Do you know what? I'm done. I'm retired. That's it. I'm done.
Hull on Friday. Look, I desperately tried to get Chris to do a watch along with me, and his response was,
"Fuck off."
Fuck off.
And do you know what? Honestly, I don't. Sorry, I'm sorry, but I can't. Please.
What's that Zara McDermott?
Norwich City
meme?
Football Club. Please just give us something, okay? Just anything, okay? Go away at Hull and give us a really horribly dirty, skanky, cretinous, dirty, horrible, nasty 1-0 win. Yeah? Park the wagon. We know that we love to do that.
The wagon driver.
Park the wagon. Sit deep. Get one of their players sent off and nick a dirty 1-0 win.
Okay.
Just please give us something, because I am struggling to co-host this podcast. I'll be honest with you. You might be on your own next week, Jack.
Look, I will continue to force you into that very seat and make you talk about Norwich City for the rest of this season at least.
I'm a bit worried if it continues that we'll be cancelled, because I'll just...
By ourselves?
Yeah. Well, I'll cancel myself. Yeah.
Chris, speak to you next week.
Turn the camera off.
After a mauling by the Tigers. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hang
on, can I just say, if you've got to this point and you've watched and listened to this all the way through, I want you to post on X, hashtag
wagon driver.
Wagon driver. Hashtag wagon driver, okay? I want to see proof in the pudding, because I don't believe that anyone with a sound mind has listened or watched this podcast all the way through. Hashtag wagon driver. How dedicated of a Talk Norwich City subscriber are you?
Up the wagons. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.